Okay, so what would you do if you were the most popular girl at school and you just so happened to be a witch? Would you turn your annoying little brother into a dog? Will today be our most finest hour? Find out as we do 1989 Teen Witch. This is Ryan at the Radical Retro Rewind, back again with David, and we are doing one of David's favorite movies,
Teen Witch.
So David, we are in the first month of February. We just had our first Thundercats Friday.
Really excited about that. A lot of episodes to go through.
129 left.
We may have to do like a double feature once in a while just to...
This is the month of love.
I'm wearing red.
Cupid's ready to shoot his arrow.
I don't know about that.
So today is Teen Witch. David, why did you pick this 1989 classic movie?
If you've been listening to our podcast over the last, 6 months now, obviously you saw our most favorite witches of all time. Going back with the witch theme, I've always loved that. Everything, about the whole witchcraft thing, and everybody wants to have some sort of power, but I think fundamentally I'm really enjoy watching the movie because of the fact that Louise is kind of an outcast. I always thought she was an attractive girl to begin with. It's always funny how how they always in these movies, when they do a transformation from like the unpopular girl or the ugly quote unquote, which is a mean thing to say, girl or guy, or they make them hip or whatever, all of a sudden it's just like basically the same person. They looked good to begin with, they just were dressed poorly or had glasses on or something. They make them now they're beautiful and perfect. They were before. It's just a matter of like wearing some makeup or whatever you want to do to enhance your already God-given beauty. But I like the fact that she's an outcast. I like the fact that she feels she's been wronged by the popular girls, these bitchs in the movie. And I like the idea. I like a story about the underdog. I'm always rooting for the underdog. I was the underdog. I think we've all been the underdog at some point. Except the people with pretty privilege.
Like you're saying, she's not even unattractive. And at one point, I mean, we'll get into it, but at one point, she does like secretly reveal she goes with her regular outfit, her quote unquote geeky sweaters, and then she changes, like she brings her own outfit. She can wear quote unquote popular outfits and look good. So you're right. It's not like this didn't happen to her friend, let's just say.
So that's why I love
she had to have something to start with.
Yeah. So that's what I love. That's what I really like about the movie. It's kind of a story of the underdog kind of getting over on the mean girls, the popular girls, the Heathers. But at the same time, I mean, we're going to get into it, but at the same time, she almost loses herself within the becoming super popular and powerful like a witch. But then the difference between her and those mean popular girls to begin with is that she has a heart and she has redemption and she can see what the changes that she's made that have turned out to be not so great changes to who she is, and she's able to come back from it, which is why I like it so much, because she doesn't just become a mean girl and just stay that way.
That sets it up perfectly. We have our main character of Louise Miller, played by Robin Lively, who is evidently the older sister of Blake Lively.
Very cool.
Did not know.
Well, you know how that goes. That again goes back to you always have a leg up. I'm not saying she didn't do her in her own right, but there's always like, oh, you're a cousin of, you're Julia Roberts' cousin. Your mom is a country singer.
Roberts.
Your mom's a country singer. I mean, I always said we were like the Jacksons. We had the talent, but no money.
Oh my God. Dare I ask who's LaToya? There's a Michael, there's a Janet, and there's LaToya.
I don't know who I would be. I don't think I'd be LaToya, although gotta love LaToya.
At this point, I'll take LaToya.
I probably wouldn't want to be Janet.
I mean, really, honestly, if you're going to be a Jackson.
I mean, Janet.
Miss Jackson, if you're next.
Janet still got the curse of the Jacksons, where her voice became extremely low. She speaks like she only whispers, and she had a lot of plastic surgery, but she still looks damn good and can sing and dance still. So God bless Janet Jackson, love her. So anyway, Teen Witch. Forget our expose on the Jackson family and fame. Just let's go into Teen Witch. Okay, so the movie opened in a dream
I do want to
sequence.
add that this was originally pitched as the female version of Teen Wolf and later reworked to its own film featuring numerous impromptu rap music numbers, and has since become a cult classic. So, David, this is not a musical in the sense of a musical. It's like a movie with music scattered throughout it. Just when you forget that it has musical elements, someone will just start dancing in a locker room.
It's like how I would want to live my life. Just break out into song randomly. I do that now with my kids. Like, I'll just break out into song of a random stuff, but I mean,
Do they
sometimes.
dance? That would be my dream.
My kids love to dance. My kids
Partridge Family.
love to be the center of attention, even though they act like they don't. Yeah, they love it. They're entertainers themselves. I would have put them, in acting like Disney and stuff like that, except for I'm afraid they're just gonna have like some bad hang-ups and become like Miley Cyrus. No offense to Miley Cyrus, but she got crazy.
Twerking in tongues.
Yeah.
Tongue twerking. That's the whole other genre. Teen Witch, it does start with, I will say, I love the soundtrack, but this is the longest intro to a movie in history. It literally plays the whole song of Never Gonna Be the Same Again.
So the soundtrack, I love the 80s vibe on the soundtrack. Can never find the soundtrack. I don't know if it was just unknown people that they threw in a studio and singers random singers that never made it big. So they just, I don't know. That's a quirky thing. People that listen to this movie after this podcast are going to be like, you want to listen to that song?
There was never an official, as far as I know, soundtrack. You're right. But the Teen Witch musical in 2007 released a CD soundtrack, which I have digital copies. So these have almost become the versions to me. It's when I heard the movie version again, because I listened to these songs for years without this movie. When I heard the movie version, I was like, oh my God. Because I'm so used to this stage version that was made. So they tried to get a musical off the ground with Teen Witch at some point, and the person, I believe it was the person who made Teen Witch, was really trying to push a musical version, so he made a soundtrack. So we did get a soundtrack with the songs and the original lyrics based on the musical. That never happened, but at least there's a CD with the songs. Yes, there are modern singers, but I gotta say they can actually sing, these people. So if you're interested in the soundtrack, you can find the Teen Witch musical soundtrack from 2007 on iTunes, Spotify.
You know what I automatically go back to? When we saw Xanadu. And she's like, look at me.
We definitely have to do Xanadu, the movie, on this show at some point. Yes, she does. The actress in the Xanadu musical does.
Camp it
up.
Would
you say?
She camps it up
Olivia Newton-John's like nuances.
Can't even do it because that's not the way my voice works. But like, she's like, look at me.
Yes.
So anyway.
So this is the longest running intro in history, as well as our intro.
I was just going to say, to be the podcast intro, because it really is.
And it's so 80s. There is, Louise is having a dream of the man that she's in love with. We find out Brad, and she's in this dress. She's got a flowing scarf in the wind. There's like saxophones playing. They're on a roof. Nothing makes sense.
The hair is teased up you can collect satellites in it.
Yes, you can. And we find out that this is a dream that Louise was just making this 3-minute music video in her mind, because it really is a music video, this intro. And this is when we meet her brother, who is under her bed for some reason, like a troll, eating chocolate cake. With
it's like a skank. Hand? He's a total skank. I don't know.
And we're not making fun of this actor by his looks by any means, but he has a very distinct look.
I just remember they over-exaggerated what a little brother would be like. He was, you smell because you refuse to take a shower because boys are dirty. Like, I've never seen a kid that dirty. Okay, my kids leave stuff around and they leave messes everywhere. I've never seen someone like shove a chocolate cake up their nose and leave it. Like, it's like, I'm saying, it's like, it's over-exaggerated. It's disgusting. It's overly exaggerated what the image of a stinky little boy brother, annoying brother is. So he's just gross. They make him look like gross.
And he happens to be under her bed reading her diary going, oh Brad, touch me, Brad. The way that we see, like, she pulls him from under the bed, and we get this, like, shot of him from the opposite side screaming as she's pulling him. It's just, he freaks me out.
They make him like the Gollum of,
really?
of little brothers.
My precious Louise, with this chocolate cake. And he's reading her diary, and her homework from school now is covered with chocolate cake And so it sticks. So it's part of her diary, unfortunately. So
And this is the
we get
80s, so she just doesn't have a home printer where she could just reprint it. She can't email the
yes.
teacher. She can't email the teacher, the information.
We're setting up that Louise is an outcast. Like David said earlier, there's really nothing wrong with this girl. I mean, she's nothing.
She's
So
pretty.
she wears sweaters, and
Well,
her family's a little square, as they would say. Actually, played by second Darren from Bewitched is her father, Dick Sargent.
the parents are really nice people. They're down to earth, and they just assume that Louise is like them in the sense of they're just kind of they got her a kind of a homely sweater for her birthday, which comes up in the movie.
Because she's 15 right now, and
Yeah, and
she's
they
turning
just, but the
16.
mother shows her a picture of herself, and she looked horrific. And the mother, it turns out to be a pretty woman. You know what I'm saying? It's like the whole story about
Blonde
blossom. It's
bombshell.
about blossoming. It's like again, it's that wholesome, storyline where you'll become the swan from the Ugly Duckling when you get older. But she lives in the reality that a lot of people do, where you get made fun of or you get talked down to by these snotty, rude, mean girls and boys. So she wants to make the crossover to be more adult like and look more to the aesthetic that's the most popular thing going on then, which I cringe at now with the dynasty shoulder pads and the hair teased out. Who thought that was attractive? I'm sorry, there is parachute pants. There is nothing cute about that. I'm not saying that the opposite, where the pants are so tight that you can see their anatomy, skinny jeans that are like, hipsters and stuff and people like still wear now, but the style looks
Let's
rendered.
pray it doesn't come back, because we're seeing some 90s outfits coming back. I
Oh
don't know
my
if you
God. When I
noticed
was
it.
clubbing, I had more. If someone would have lit a match too close to my outfit, I would have burst into flames. Everything was polyester and fake. I had these, like, they called car wash pants from Janko.
Go! Oh my god, yes, of
They would, like, if
course.
you they were like literally plastic pants that were like bell bottoms. Like, it's just crazy. But listen, that was the thing.
It was a thing. Let's pray it never comes back. That's part of what we're doing here. We're doing a public service for people. So you don't have to relive
A
these.
retrospect.
Yeah, you don't have to relive these fashions. So Louise lives across from the most popular girl, conveniently, and she's best friends with this girl named Polly, who has curly hair. She wears a trench coat, so okay, so she's not cool either. But David, she says the girl across the street, this is Polly, her friend, says she was dressed like a skank. There was really nothing skanky. This woman was fully covered. I just love that this friend is just so angry at the world. She was total skank. The girl was covered head to toe. I
It's
mean,
her
even in
actions.
the
It's her actions. She's very generous. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, going back to the
And we
generosity.
talked about the super spreader being a super spreader. She's very generous.
So that's her. That's the most popular girl.
Or we want to root for poor Polly and Louise. But anyway, so she's across the street from the most popular girl.
She wants to be the most popular girl. Right now,
A
she's
mean
nothing,
girl. She's a
evidently.
mean girl.
So we get to school. This teacher this is one of the most evil teachers in the history of cinema for some reason. This guy that Louise has as a teacher. So first off, we find out at some point that Louise, I guess, she skipped ahead some classes because she's so intelligent. But teacher, this guy, he treats her like she's a degenerate when she happens to walk in late, which I'm assuming is not a normal thing for this girl. And he's like, "Oh, thank you for joining us, Miss Miller. It's not enough that you skipped ahead." This guy is a jerk. Not only that, at one point he pulls out her birth control
And he
pills.
says, "Oh my God, just thinking about it, aren't we?" First of all, if that happened today and that happened to my kid, he wouldn't have had a job after that. I would
I
have beat him up. I would have done something horrible, and he would have lost his job because I would have said, "You're sexually harassing my child. You're a pervert."
Because he also goes and reads the part of her diary that's attached with chocolate cake to her homework about Brad, and the guy is in the glass. It's so terrible. I feel so bad for Louise about having Brad and kissing her and touching her body. This teacher not only is a pervert.
Yeah, he is.
But you know what? I gotta give it to Brad. There's at some points, there's a musical going on. There's a teacher that I think David always really likes this teacher because there's this one teacher
The
that
redhead.
really Yes.
Like the drama teacher. Yeah, she's really
Yes,
sweet.
yes. She's the only teacher that really seems to be very nice at this school, and Louise is friendly with her. And so anyway, Louise is trying out for a play. So Brad, this love interest, he is a football player, but he's also a theater person. Gives him a little
That
3-dimension right there to his personality. He's just not a football player. He'll
he's
also
just
play.
perfect. Brad is perfect.
So we're setting this all up. We set up that she's an outcast, quote unquote. We know that her teacher's terrible, and she's 15 years old. She's about to have her 16th birthday. So set up the whole witchy part, because we're like 20 minutes in and nothing really witchy happens. Louise is riding her bike one night, and she ends up on the doorstep of a strange looking house, which I believe is the Thriller house, which is literally right next door to the Charmed Manor.
Oh my God, I was just going to say that. I was going to say this is like she totally ends up at this gypsy witch's place and she get her palm read or whatever, her fortune read because she's feeling down and out. And it totally reminds me of when Phoebe goes to Madame Teresa's and gets
Teresa, yes.
Madame Teresa's thing, gets her fortune read or whatever and totally reminded me of that. But anyway, just that's like a weird David thing.
But this is where she meets, they call her a unique but welcoming woman, the seer, Madame Serena. So Madame Serena is played by Zelda Rubinstein.
Of
A favorite
Poltergeist.
of yours?
Of Poltergeist. Come to the light, Carol Ann. There was hope in the light. There was peace in the light.
So would you say this is really her
Niche. weird little lady that does like voodoo / psychic / paranormal. Yeah.
Because didn't later on in life, she did like I remember this as like a kid, that there was like a paranormal show that she hosted as well, and she did the voiceover.
It wasn't the Dead Files with Amy Allen, but
he's got the receipts!
I have the receipts, people. I think honestly, you get typecast. Like, we talked about like, and again, off my tangents, actors, Edward James Olmos and the guy from Grease, because they have pock marks and acne marks, they immediately are like the tough, mean, or evil, or the villain, because they look quote unquote the part. Like the big tall guy is always, the James Bond movies, always like the evil henchman and stuff. So yeah.
Or if you're bald, you're evil.
So
unless you're Daddy Warbucks.
Well, yeah. So I think she got typecast in that role. But I'm honestly, a lot of actors make a really good living doing character parts, and that is their niche. And honestly,
well, she is a little person. I don't know, for anyone who doesn't know, the actress was a little person. I
don't know if she's literally. I think anybody under a certain height, what is it, 5'3", is considered.
Is that what it is?
Something like that is considered to be. I don't know. Like,
I'm gonna click on Zelda Rubinstein's name on Wikipedia. Oh, she did pass away January 27th of 2010.
Rest in peace.
Yes. So she did speak for little people's rights.
Good for her. God bless her. Anybody that uses their platform to bring light to the darkness, so to speak, or bring light to a topic that maybe some people are uncomfortable with, her notoriety, her celebrity, to bring people to to respect little people, and
she's very lovable in this. At first, they set it up as, what's going on? Does she have alternative motives? Because she wants.
Yeah, she's reading Louise, and first of all, she asks Louise for money, and Louise goes, "All I have is $6." She goes, "Okay, put the money in the offering thing." Madame Serena can never see the money.
Okay, please put the money on the offering plate and cover it up. Madame Serena must never see the money.
Meaning that she's like, because she gets more. She charges more than $6, I would imagine, for a reading. Then she looks at Louise's palm, then she looks again really hard, and she goes, "You're one of us."
So she turns out to be a reincarnated witch and an old friend from one of her previous lives. Serena reveals that exactly 1 week later, on Louise's 16th birthday, her magical powers will return with the aid of a powerful amulet that was lost in a former life, an item that Madame Serena says searches for his owner. This sets up that there's going to be a magical amulet, and that teacher that we spoke about earlier just so happens to give Louise this beautiful, they say beautiful, it's not that great, necklace.
It looks like a $5 necklace. It looks like the earrings from the Gem movie that they did.
Yes, they were
cheap.
This thing is,
but whatever.
Cheap gold. We're talking about yellow plastic gold here.
It turned her ring finger black.
That is the true curse of being a witch. So yeah, so she gets this necklace that just so happens to turn up, and we set up that Louise is having a birthday party. Now, no one comes to the birthday party, and she gets a call from Polly that the girl who lives across the street is also having a party.
Because
no
the girl
one
set it up like that so that Louise, because she knew it was Louise's birthday. She's a mean girl.
But yes, but Louise didn't look across the street when she's waiting for people. Because I know when I'm waiting for some people to come, I'm always looking out the window. She wasn't looking out the window saying, oh, those cars are pulling up to that. So anyway, I digress. But Polly calls her. Where's Polly? She's supposed to be at this birthday party. That's her best friend. Oh, Louise, guess what?
Girl,
everyone's at that skank's house.
She's getting a perm. Polly's getting a perm.
But she says she'll be right over. Poor girl, waiting for her best friend. So now Louise is 16 years old, and once Louise discovers that she has the power to alter the world around her, she attempts to make her dreams come true. So Madame Teresa gives her a book, and at one point she goes to an abandoned merry-go-round.
Because that's what everybody does. It's giving me flashbacks to Buffy the Vampire Slayer scene.
Right? Yes.
It was creepy. She's at a
pitch black.
Yeah.
It's night.
She must live in a very good neighborhood, because I wouldn't be walking around there, even me, at night.
Well,
you're going to see Bingo the Clown, psychotic killer clown or something. I don't know. Not for me. Well,
she works on a spell, and then the lights go on this merry-go-round. We also should add that Louise, her magic is very new, so water will stop any spell at the moment. That's one of the repercussions. So because her magic is not strong enough, water reverses things.
That's they should have just, honestly, if I was the writer, I would have made it where it just wears off quickly.
I don't even think it doesn't come up too many times, this water.
She's not a mermaid. If you throw water on her, nothing's going to happen.
Splash.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have to also mention that this quote-unquote popular girl at one point asks Louise to go to a dance with her cousin
David,
who doesn't. Oh, his name is David.
Yeah, you know he looks like that stylist from the Rachel Zoe project. With
the glasses.
With the glasses. Well, I don't know what his name is.
That what he grew up to be?
Is that his name, Brad? Is that really I don't think that's the actual stylist name. But anyway, he looks like that, and he's Rhonda, whatever her name is. I think it's Randa. Is it Randa? We're from New York, so we might say completely. Her name might be Rhonda. We might say Randa.
There's also Kiki is another.
He's the girl with the black hair, the slim little one with the black hair. That's
Randa. I have Randa written down. Randa.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so he's geeky, but he's also wants to sexually.
He's in the car. He's like, "Give me," and this is the most ridiculous line.
Let's smoke some weed. You want to smoke weed?
He's like, "Give me a soul kiss, baby." What does that even mean? That's like totally racist. I think I don't even know what a soul kiss is.
It touches his soul.
It reminds me of like when you say soul trade or something. He's like, "Give me a soul kiss, baby." I'm like, "What is that?"
He's driving erratically. At one point, she wants to go home.
Like trying to feel her up. At some point,
he's trying to sexually assault her. Really,
she changes her outfit to something cooler and whatever, and he like makes fun of that. He's dressed like a geek.
Yeah, he laughs at her.
Really good hair and glasses are cool.
I was gonna say he's put together. The thing that makes him a geek is because they tell you he's a geek, and because he has glasses and he's wearing maybe a more geekier looking sweater.
But by today's standard, he'd be like hip, dressed.
Yes, he would be a hipster. I think.
Yeah.
As they call.
So it's as they call. Oh my God, you're not that old. Stop. As the kids call it. I was looking up on the computer on the
Facebook.
On the Facebook
and the Walmarts.
The Twickles, whatever it's called, sir.
Listen, I'm still waiting for my Madame Serena to change my life.
I'm looking for the slimming spell. You feel I'm finding it. So she's in the car. This is the party. David tries to feel her up. She goes, "I wish you would just leave me alone," and he disappears.
Says who? Give me some soul kisses, baby.
Oh, how would you like it if somebody groped you?
I love it, baby. Come on. Hey, I got an idea. Let's do it while we're moving.
David, stop it. David, knock it off.
Give me one kiss and I'll be nice.
I wish you would just leave me alone.
Gone. Boom.
So we see that Brad needs help with school. Louise is the smartest person. Again, Brad isn't that bad. He might be dating the most popular girl, but he's not an asshole.
I feel like he's dating her because she's the most popular girl, and that's what's expected of him.
And he said that, doesn't he say? He says, well, everyone wants to date a popular girl.
Who puts out.
Oh, yeah.
They
Because
all
she's
put
a
out.
skank, evidently, Polly.
She is a skank because she's mean to Louise. Let me tell you something. I was not good friends, but I was friends with the most popular girl in school when I was in high school. I don't remember, God, I can't remember her name.
That's how popular
It was
she
like
was.
It was like, I think her name was like Nancy. I don't know, no word of a lie. She looked like she was like 25 years old in high school, perfectly done hair. Like, again, this is the 90s. She had very like bleachy blonde, pretty, but big boobies, perfect body. This, and I remember one day I used to wear sweatpants a lot because I was really miserable at some point in my life, and I was like overweight, and I was unhappy. And she goes, man, she said something to the effect of, I wish I could wear sweatpants like you do. Like, in other words, like pretty privileged sort of a thing. Like she had to be done up. And I go to her, the difference between when you wear sweatpants is that you're still gorgeous, but when I wear sweatpants, I'm just a fat pig. You know what I mean? And I said that, and I remember that stayed with me. But she was the most popular, pretty, like, I mean, literally, she looked, like I said, she was in her 20s in high school. She was boom, like the whole thing, but the sweetest girl. But she was kind of trapped in that thing where she had to be perfect and everything. But she wasn't a mean girl. That's the difference. She was never mean.
Well, that's a nice reversal. But see, those people that look 25 in high school
look 45 in college.
They look, I was going to say, and you blossomed into a beautiful...
Me?
Yeah, you had a very nice run.
What are you saying? It's over?
Well, now you're married.
So what does that mean? I should let myself...
No, but
you know what? We do make a joke about that. I'm like, with my husband, he's like, well, I'm married now. I can let myself go. I said, really? Or I tell people I would let myself go, but I'm already gone.
That's not true. That's not true.
I'm not a vain person, but I like to keep myself up. I mean, a lot of people do tell me, they're like...
Again, I say this in every episode, he's not my oldest brother, but I went to school with somebody... Can I just say this? I gotta tell this story.
Oh, okay.
I went to school with somebody since the 6th grade, right? David and I, a few years ago, we're going to the same gym. The girl went to the gym as well. There was one day that I didn't go with him. We would go together at night. The girl went up to him thinking it was me. The girl went to school with me since 6th grade and didn't know the difference between me and him. So again, David is very young looking, and he still is very young looking. Not that he's old by any means, but he's very youthful looking.
Yeah, I remember I was trying to go out with this teacher who was a gym teacher, and when we were, not to get too graphic, because we're trying to keep this, when we were going to go do the deed, so to speak, he told me he couldn't sleep with me because I looked like I would be one of his students. This is meanwhile I was in my like mid, almost late 20s, and so he was like,
wow!
You look like one of my students. I was like, I'm like 20.
I'm
28. I'm 28. I'm not one of your students. So yeah, that's a funny thing. I remember.
You were Teen Witch. I'm gonna.
No, I was like being on 90210. I'm paying a 17-year-old, but I'm like 37. I got some stories, but anyway. So let's get back to this because we're like probably an hour into this podcast.
We're 40 minutes in, and we just know that Louise is about to be a witch. Okay. So now there is Brad, who is the hottest guy in school. With Madame Serena's help, Louise will use her newfound powers to become the most popular girl in school, while also get back at her harassing English teacher, Mr. Weaver, and the catty group of cheerleaders who never respected her. So, yes, Madame Serena brings out this vial with this liquid in it, and she says this is the last of her powers, and she can't believe that she's using this to help her become the most popular girl. But I'm assuming, therefore, she figures she'll just have Louise to use all the do all the magic for her. Why is it?
She does. She makes Louise do a spell for money and for a man. She turns a frog into a man, and then when he opens his mouth, he goes ribbit, ribbit, because she wants a hot man.
She longed for this. Can we just back up and just say Madame Serena was obsessed with saying, "We'll make him your love slave, your love slave." She says that a few times, so Brad is going to become her love slave.
With me being your coach, he's gonna become your love slave. He's gonna be crazy about you. A love slave.
But see, that's also, again, where we talk about the underdog. Obviously, Madame Serena being a little person and not being popular herself, she said that she used her magic kind of the same way for people to like her because she didn't want to give anybody a chance to reject her, which again is heartbreaking. Like, because we all, anybody who's been in a situation as gay people or a minority or overweight or something that just puts you out of the quote unquote norm knows what it's like to be an outcast. And for her to say she used this magical ability so that she wouldn't be rejected by people, it is really speaks to me. That's another reason why I like these 80s movies and stuff. There's heart to them. They're lame, but at the same time, there's heart in them, and they actually speak to us as human beings. So yeah, so she says she used her magic in a similar way. So I think that's why she gives her the potion or the magic, because she knows that what she went through.
And she does this little thing, a little nuance in her acting. I always loved Zelda Rubinstein when she said she's about to use the last of her magic, and she does this little, like, almost like, I can't believe I'm doing this, like, look she gives. It's a very subtle nuance, but I think that's great acting. It was this, oh, wow, like, I'm actually doing this. And it's a silent look. Just wanted to give it out to her. This is when Louise is getting popular, and there's also going to be a love spell that she has to do to Brad. He has to sit on her bed. She has to scatter this stuff around, this powdery stuff around, and she has to say this spell. So she invites Brad over. I love this, right? He goes to her bedroom. He has to sit on her bed, so she's hidden all the chairs in her house, evidently. Every member of her household has come in and asking where the chairs are.
I like the father's response. I love the father's response. When he sees Brad coming in, he makes sure he opens the door fully, because you don't want this hot guy in your room with your daughter on her bed.
I mean, he's got the books, but could those be a cover? I don't know. I've never had these experiences, so God bless Louise. After a few minutes of her trying to get this done, this spell, she even starts saying the words right next to him. I'm all kinds of cringy for this poor woman. But she's just like, ugh. She opens her closet and there's all the chairs in there, and she just starts pulling them out.
She's like, don't even ask. She tells Brad, don't even ask, because she messes up the spell and it doesn't work.
Now, where were we? Oh, yes, sit down. Lothum, Nalphalon, Athenota.
What?
Serenum, Smonificum, Aetolium, Brad Power.
What?
I wish that Brad Power would...
What do you wish?
Never mind. Here, have a seat. Don't ask. Don't even think about asking.
There's also a part which is funny when she's trying to do some kind of spell in the girls' locker room, and she's saying these weird words. I think her friend is like, like, what are you saying? She's like, the new U2 import.
Yeah. And that's all it took. So that's when we get one of the sporadic random music numbers, which is I Like Boys, where all of the cheerleaders in the locker room,
all the Kiki and Randa and whoever else are like singing about like putting on makeup and tight clothes to get boys. And
they're dancing in leotards.
Cancel culture. You don't have to put on makeup to attract men, you know.
I think the lyrics are like, we're throwing out our dollhouse.
Yeah.
And things like that. And like, I found out this morning that I like boys. I like boys. This also could be a gay anthem, honestly, and I'm sure it is. Polly, again, she also has a crush. And she has a crush on one of these guys who is like a Guido dancing.
He's supposed to be like Latino, right?
I don't know, but he's very handsome.
I think he's better looking. I would have hit him better than Brad.
Brad is gorgeous, and the man knows how to pose. But yeah, so Polly wants this guy. Good taste, Polly. This is in the beginning stages of her magic. So they're riding on their bikes. She sees them doing this street
performance,
rap.
Like,
yeah, performance,
they have a boombox and they're like rapping.
So they're like, let's go the other way, Polly saying on the bike. But she's like, no, you like him, whatever. She does a spell.
She starts rubbing the amulet, and she wants Polly to like have.
Better not rub too hard, Louise. That gold's gonna come off.
Have to have. She's got black finger after she keeps rubbing it because of the cheap pewter. So she enchants Polly, and Polly goes over and does her own little rap thing to the guy. Like, it's a back and forth like rap battle. And the song is top that, I don't really give up about that.
I'm king, and they know it. When I snap my fingers, everybody says sure, I'm hot, and you're not. But if you want to hang with me, I'll give it one shot. Top that. You can do all that you can, but you'll never top that.
This is what people really know about this movie. My favorite part is when she's like, I will make a fool of you. Yeah. At the end.
And then she goes at the end, she's like, top that.
Supersonic, idiotic, disconnected, not respected. Who would ever really wanna go and top that? Such a waste, a pretty face, but hanging in your nose space. I wish that you would take a look and really stop that. Top that. Well, stop that. I don't really give a about trying to top that. Top that. Stop that. I wish you finally take a real look and really stop that.
What's this?
Stop that.
What gives?
Top that. I don't really give a about trying to stop that.
Top that.
Big deal.
Stop that.
Unreal.
You can try till you blue.
I will make a fool of you. Top that.
And the guy, I feel like he's taken. He's ready to do something with her just from that.
Very, if anybody knows 80s, it's very like Cynthia versus like it's like freestyle, very like, what is it, Stevie B or whatever, like versus
Yeah.
Cynthia sort of a thing. Dream Girl versus, you know, like, I don't know, like,
Dream girl, dream boy. Yeah.
yeah, it's like kind of like me, like that flavor. If anybody knows that, that's kind of what it is. It's like a freestyle rap. I later found out that they're not the ones doing it, which I didn't think they were, but I thought the guy was, because it sounded like, to me, it emulated.
Yeah, it looks like his look, right, of that actor.
They had unknowns.
He's just a body, it turns out.
They had unknowns do the rap, which is funny, but hey, it worked. So yeah, so Louise does that.
So she's doing nice things. The teacher that she likes, the theater teacher, this woman wins the lottery. She meets a count?
Spanish count, and she goes on a whirlwind romance and
Yeah. Sabbatical. She's just taken off. She is taken off mid-school. God
and then
bless
she goes,
that
I don't know
woman.
why I want to thank you, but I want to thank you, Louise. So like there's something like, so that she gets these powers, she starts doing positive things for her friends, for a little bit for herself, but she's trying to like equal the score with the popular people and the mean people and everything, kind of.
The teacher. This is when she does the voodoo doll for the teacher, who definitely after this point, if his acts earlier on his own accord didn't get him for sexual harassment, she does a voodoo doll from him. Louise, I don't know if she did it with magic, but she made a whole voodoo doll. She made clothes and shoes that fit for this voodoo doll too, and underwear.
She's a geek. She knows how to sew. I took a sewing class in high school. Remember all those damn pillows and curtains and taking up Aunt Kathy's nursing outfit to make her look like she was a prostitute practically to go into work.
You know,
She told me she wanted to raise the hem. I did.
All in the sake of high school sewing classes.
Yes,
Home
yes,
ec.
home ec, baby.
She makes a voodoo doll, and she's clearly in school making the teacher undress little by little. This evil teacher. He gets completely naked, and he's still not fired, by the way.
They think he has a nervous breakdown. They send him home, and it turns out her psycho little brother takes the voodoo doll, starts playing with, throwing it around, and then the mother ends up throwing it into the washing machine to clean it because the brother got nasty stuff on it. And she thinks, oh, my poor little daughter made this cute little doll for school or something, and I have to clean it now. And he ends up going into a car wash because that's like the equivalent.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of a washing machine,
I guess.
Honestly, he should be spinning. He should be spinning.
Honestly, he would have ended up dead. That's some Final Destination stuff right there if he went through a car wash.
Yeah, so this is at least the innocent version of
So
it.
she gets back at the nasty teacher. He's on sabbatical, so to speak, or leave. Her that she loves wins the lottery and marries a beautiful, gorgeous count and is traveling the world. So then we get to the part where Louise is going to become popular. She wants to look like Shayna. Is it Shayna? This popular.
Not from Gem.
No, it's like a pop singer, like a mixture between like Madonna and Stacey Q, and like
yes, I got a Stacey Q. Yes,
a little bit of Joan Jett maybe too, a little bit of rocker in it. She ends up going to backstage because she has to get an article of Shayna, like a very personal article of Shayna's clothing to make this spell to become popular like Shayna. So she magically puts her name on the guest list, the backstage. Gets her and Polly in. Shayna is performing her little heart out, and then she runs off stage and she says, Louise, thank you for coming to the concert. I want to give you my tour jacket. It's been with me for all these years, but I want you to have it. Which almost bothered me a little bit because it's really something personal to this singer, and I didn't like that fact. I don't know if she returned.
Yeah, since her first album, she said.
I don't know.
I don't know how
returns it.
Probably not.
But she gets the tour jacket, and then she goes to do a spell to make her the most popular girl.
And it works.
Yeah, so what is it? She has to put the jacket on, spin around, and say some kind of popularum sincerum or something like.
Yes,
and then,
yes. All things I would have pronounced wrong and gotten.
Well, then you would have had
not what I wanted, probably.
You.
Can we also add the part when she turns the alien little brother into a dog? Because he calls her
a dog. Ah! And he turns into a dog. Watching her little brother, he trashes the kitchen, making gusting food, pickled with like onion / ice cream sandwich, like weird crap. I don't, again, that whole like weird thing about the little brother being disgusting. She says something like, he goes, I'm rubber and you're glue. Whatever you say to me bounces off of me and sticks to you. So when he says, you're a dog, Louise, a dog, it bounces off of her and turns him into a dog.
And on his last dog, he does like David and he goes backwards and then he turns into a dog.
I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you call me sticks back on you.
No, I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you call me sticks back on you.
You think you're hot stuff because you went to a dance. Dream on, nobody wants to date you because you're a dog. A dog! A dog!
That reminds me of Weird Science. In the movie Weird Science with Kelly LeBrock, she turns the nasty brother into like a disgusting like lizard, looked like Jabba the Hutt sort of a thing.
Yeah.
So very similar to like payback for a mean sibling. So she turns into a dog, and then he gets scared because he knows that she did this to him. So he becomes a better person. Like he becomes like clean.
He dresses like a butler or something at one
Louise,
point.
Your paper Louise, your breakfast Louise, perfectly made for you, blah, blah, blah. So
things are looking up already.
Richie's cleaned everything up. Even straightened out the refrigerator shelves. Do you think he's on drugs?
So she wakes up after doing the spell, and she's the most popular girl. She looks at her hair in the mirror. Her clothes are the on point and trend. Cue music when she opens the door.
That's all it takes.
So then the popular girl across the street pulls up with Brad and says, can you want to go to school with us? We'll take you to school, Louise, because you're just so amazing. And literally almost runs over Polly because Polly's biking it over to her house.
I know that the movie wants Polly to be portrayed as the victim at this point. I honestly say I do hate that when people, friends that you know, do maybe get popular and they forget you. Yes, this is a real thing. Although there are times when it shows that Louise is trying to
maintain
with her. And honestly, I think, yes, it shows, Polly's being pushed out of the way, but she does try. And I think this is more because even at the end, we'll get to it, but they're performing this play that we were talking about earlier. And it just so happened that Louise says break a leg, and the one of the popular girls, Kiki, I believe, breaks her leg on a thing. And she's like, geez, Louise, you're so jealous that you did this? And I'm like,
Jeez, Louise, what did you do, trip her?
She doesn't know she's a witch. And the woman wasn't even near her. So she becomes like, it's too over the top, like Polly's hatred. To me, anyway.
Polly is a BBS. She suffers from bitter bitch syndrome.
She made her rap. She got her to have a sexual moment with that man in the streets.
Yeah,
she opened the gates for her. Louise can't do everything, she's got to get Brad.
But, it's the formula like everything else. This is what I always tell people when, like, in real life, when they... How do I put this? Because now it's going to sound like I'm shooting my mouth. A lot of people come to me for advice about relationships and stuff, and it's like, I call it the sitcom formula. There's always like in Friends when, Monica doesn't tell, this person or whatever, like, it's so annoying. Just tell the person I love you, or tell the person. All Polly had to do was pick up the phone and say, Louise, you've become very popular all of a sudden, and I feel left out. I'm Randa and whatever, Kiki keep pushing me out of the way. Can we spend some time together? And Louise would have had the option to say, listen, I'm so sorry. I'm really enjoying this. Let's have a girls' night out. And she could have included Polly even with the mean girls, even if she didn't like them.
Yes.
So I'm kind of over the fact that the formula is don't say anything and then leave it so that people interpret whatever they want. It's silly. And that's what I don't like about the sitcom formula. And I see people doing that in real life. And I'm like, just tell the person straight up.
You're right. And it's supposed to be Louise is so bad because of this. That's what they want you to see. And like the magic gets out of hand and all that stuff. But it's true. I do think that she would have included her if she, and again, I don't want anyone left behind. I understand. I've had it done to me. People become, they leave you behind, friends. It's not like she did anything so bad. So yeah. Louise at one point is watching Brad on the football field. And I don't know what kind of high school this is, but the man takes her shirt off And talk about 25-year-old bodies.
Yeah, it's like the beginning of a softcore porn or something.
She's watching him take his football uniform off. And let's just cut to the chase where he's kind of like liking her now.
Wait a minute, you missed the whole music thing where they're like rapping to her in like carloads, following her down an alley.
Oh, yes, they are.
She's walking down an alley, and droves of men are coming up saying, "Hey, come, baby, come ride with us. Come on, don't put up a fuss. Every cool guy needs a popular girl." That's the lyrics too. So, like, yes, there's like that whole "I would not follow a woman down an alley with a car full of men," but she liked it.
And Brad takes Louise to an abandoned house at some point.
Yes, for sexing. Which is
For
that
sexing.
was that her dream? Was she in an abandoned?
No, in her dream she was on a roof.
Yeah, like a really.
So
cool
this is an abandoned house. And matter of fact, he does this, like, he runs in ahead of her, aka Blair Witch style. We don't know if he's gonna kill her. He runs in, he runs up the stairs, he leaves his outer shirt at one point at the foot of the stairs. She gets to these steps, takes her shoes off. There's a close-up of the rug that is so ripped up and old.
Urine stains.
And this one has the nerve to walk barefoot up this abandoned.
And she takes her jacket off too. It's like they're unclothing. So do they imply that they have sex?
Yes, because she gets up the foot of the stairs and he's posing with this black tank top on, looking out the window of this abandoned house with the sun shining on him. It's implied they have sex. I mean, he looks gorgeous, but I love that he's just posing.
How old is Brad? Because that could be statutory rape, you know.
I'm assuming that they're in their same.
I mean, I know he's 30 in real life, probably playing 16-year-old, but in the context of this movie. So yes, so then she has sexo.
She has sexo. Things are looking up for Louise.
Or down.
Ooh. So Polly makes the comment that she's left her, and
What's the quote? What's the quote about being popular? She says something like, "Popularity is to be emulated, then discarded," or something like that. Or it's something. I remember one of these quotes I really like. She says something about popularity to be emulated, then discarded. Like, in other words, Louise will be old news soon.
Jealous much, Polly?
Yeah, but it stuck with me for some reason because I kind of agree with it. Within the context of you had Marilyn Monroe, then you had Madonna, then you had Lady Gaga, whatever you want to compare the blonde bombshell, which we kind of go back to that formula. You always have the next one up. You had the Britney Spears, then now it could be a number of people. Britney's still Britney, but you have like, what's her name?
Yeah, that's how good they are. We can't even think of them.
Ariana Grande.
Oh.
You know, you have like the pop princesses that, you know.
But you know what? We all know high school popularity fade. This is nothing new.
But honestly,
let this poor girl have her moment in the
life
spotlight.
is high school over and over again. You go to a job when you get old. You go to college, there's the popular people, the jocks, to this. You go into a job. How many times have I worked at a job and they're like talking about sports? And honestly, as a gay man, I know that that's like the stereotype. I used to like a lot of sports, especially like I used to like hockey and baseball. Baseball, once they went on strike years ago and I know they made millions of dollars, I was like, screw you. So that ruined baseball for me, because how dare you go on strike? You make more money than God.
All the
like it's like the jocks, and you're not popular if you don't know about sports. And I'm like, I do not need to know. And again, not to turn anybody else that knows this stuff, I don't care who the MVP is. I don't care about their stats, because that doesn't affect my life. If I'm going to watch a football game, I really don't care, because you're only as good as your next play. Do you know what I'm saying? You could be on the top of your game, which is what I'm trying to say here. You could be, when you were trying to say about the popular thing, you could be the best thing since sliced bread and then lose, your whole season. So I don't care about stats, and people so that puts me at odds with people. So again, there's that whole formula, the jocks, the this, the that. As you get older, probably when you're about your 40s, I think in your late 20s, you become more comfortable with yourself. And then when you hit like 40, you almost get to the point where like, screw you, I don't care. But even then, there's cliques. There's freaking cliques in old age homes.
My God.
There's the Blanche, there's the Dorothy, there's the Rose, there's the Sophia, there's the whole shebang. Like, there's always like the popular girl.
And wasn't STDs on the rise in those?
It's the highest cases of STDs are in, because they don't think they can get STDs because they're old. Maybe they haven't had sex in 20 years. I don't know. But they don't think they can get them. They can.
Popular girl at the old
Shady
age
Pines.
At Shady Pines, exactly. This all comes down to Louise realizes that she doesn't need magic in the end. She relinquishes her powers by giving her amulet to Madame Serena, creating her own happy ending in the process. Louise finally got to be with Brad without magic.
So wait a minute, you have to go back because Brad had a conversation with her and said he can be himself with her because she's herself. Like he says, there's no false pretenses behind you. You're not phony like Randa and Kiki. Basically, he's saying so. And then
I'm assuming those aren't even their real names.
it hits a chord with her because she's saying to herself, again, this is the redemption part of this. She's realizing that she doesn't want to be with somebody because magic is making it happen. She realizes that by doing that, she's just as bad as the thing that she hates the most or doesn't like the most, which is these people.
Right.
It's a big dance, which has a really live band that's really hitting the music. Those drum machines.
Magic is involved, probably.
She comes in, dancing around, being the most popular girl. They literally lift her up. They're all staring at her. They lift her up and spin her around like some kind of musical. And
it's going to be her finest hour. This is her finest hour.
And then the music cuts this very soft, slow, It's Finest Hour song. And Madame Serena, who somehow gets into a high school. She's not a chaperone because I don't think she has any children at the high school. So she rips the amulet off and throws it, and Madame Serena picks it up, and the magic, you can hear the sound that the magic fades, and Brad still wants to be with her. And then they do this really weird dance where they're intertwined and stuff, and it's like a dance that you would see, I don't know, like ballroom
the dance of the lambada.
Yeah, it's some ridiculous thing. I don't know. Okay, so I would have never given up my magic.
Yeah, especially since there was no really repercussions with this magic. Other movies we've seen are Charmed, personal gain. No, this was
Did she give it up, or did she give up the spell? Like, did she ultimately...
This official synopsis saying she relinquishes her power to Madame Serena. I don't know if that's just the interpretation of what
I would not give up my magic. I would have broke the spell. Because what happens if you can help somebody physically? They're sick or something. Like
she did help that teacher.
So, and her friend ends up doing some kind of funky dance with the guy of her dreams in the top.
But we never have an official back together with them as friends. We're just assuming that they become friends again.
Randa doesn't seem to care that Brad's with Louise at any point. She still would go out with her. It's so funny, which means that she really didn't like him to begin with. It's just like an accessory. In fact, they talk about
she didn't see the real Brad. Evidently, what's going on with him.
She was like, and my daddy is giving me a new Mercedes or something. Don't they say that, something like that, or does she not get she gets a Schwinn or something? I don't know, something stupid for her where were we? So at the very end, there's a big dance. It's the big sequence. She gives up her power. She wants Brad and people to like her for who she is. And that's it. It's her finest hour.
And it's her finest hour. The song is amazing. More 80s shenanigans. I want to add that since 2008, Ashley Tisdale has been signed to star in a Teen Witch remake. Like I said to David earlier, Ashley Tisdale is now past the Teen Witch age. And I don't know if this is still happening, but I'm surprised Disney or someone hasn't.
Disney has the rights to it, right? Isn't it on the Disney Channel?
I want to say it's I think we just maybe we assumed it was Ashley Tisdale, so it was Disney. But Disney, Disney owns everything at this moment. So if it was Fox, then they own it anyways. But do we need a Teen Witch actually remake?
I would not make a new Teen Witch movie like they did with the Sabrina, the Adventures of Sabrina, because it's just.
But really, honestly, would they remake this and do? Again, I don't want to keep
Craft.
Or what about Gem, as we spoke about early on, the Gem remake? Are we going to get a movie that, the songs are completely different, and there's, a homage to Top That called Top That, but it's just called Top That, and all the lyrics have nothing to do, it's whopping instead, or something like that,
But you have to make it relevant.
There's some things that don't translate.
You have to make it relevant to the time period that it's in, I guess.
Yeah, but okay, so you picture Teen Witch now. What would they do?
If it's done on Disney, like a Disney exclusive movie, it would be different that it was like a release in the theaters, so to speak, movie, because they don't even release movies.
Oh yeah, I think this has to be a made-for-TV.
So then you would have the Disney flavor. They could get any cute Disney actress. I love the zombies movies. They're cute. They're musical.
Yeah.
I like Descendants. They could get Dove Cameron. They could get Sophia Carlson to do Teen Witch. They're very pretty young girls, talented, can sing, can dance. They could do one of them.
This movie honestly is an 80s classic. I don't know what modern audiences would think about it. I actually would be interested to see what a modern take on this, because a lot of these movies that we do are very of their time.
vanilla
Yes,
compared
and
to
very of their
today's.
time. This is a very 80s movie. Very 80s elements. Very 80s
But that shaped
music.
who we are. But that's shaped who we are. And that's my point. Like, that shaped us to be, I feel like, better people. Maybe. And honestly, when people say, like, things like, oh, they're so sensitive, they're a snowflake, I don't think that someone who has feelings, as long, you know what I mean, is necessarily a bad thing. It's just, it's how you express yourself. You may have very strong, powerful feelings about different topics, you know, relationships, politics, whatever. It's how you express them is what's more important. You know what? If I'm unhappy about something, I don't lock myself in a room and go into a deep depression. Don't get me wrong, I suffer with depression, but the bottom line is I wouldn't do that for the sake of whatever, because I don't like that, you know, certain person became my mayor or something. I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or like someone won an award. But these movies shaped us to be, I think, kinder, nicer people and honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing.
A classic movie, one of David's favorites.
I heart it. I love it. This is one of my choices for movies I love for Valentine's Day.
And it is a love-themed movie. I mean, we get Brad. And for my theme of love, we will be doing 1978's Dawn of the Dead. And David and I have tales of actually going to the real Monroeville Mall and possibly trying to steal gas pumps.
And possibly being arrested for vandalizing. Could have been.
We will save that for our Dawn of the Dead episode coming up. David can be found at Universal Appeal 2020, all one word, at Instagram. And the Radical Retro Rewind podcast can be found at Radical Retro Podcast, one word, at Instagram. If anyone enjoys this show and would love to support us, if you could please rate us on your favorite podcasting app and find us on YouTube at Radical Retro Podcast and subscribe. Unfortunately, we're in a generation where every subscription and like counts, and it would really help out the show.
And again, please let us know it's something that you might want to hear us cover. We're very open to that, and so it'll definitely bridge a gap if it's something you're like, oh, I kind of like what these guys are doing, but they haven't hit the mark for me, as far as I would love for them to talk about this from the 80s or that from the 90s, or
and pronounce names wrong. That's
and
always something.
Yes, I would love for them to have, you know, show that they cannot speak the English language properly on my favorite movie.
Thank you again for joining us. Thank you for bringing in your own love. We will be back next week with an all new episode, and again, every last Friday of the month is an all new Thundercats recap. Currently, you could watch Thundercats for free on Hulu.
And I am.
Yeah, if you want to catch up and watch along with us, Hulu. Thank you again.
Bye.